welcome to one last salty kiss. Lynx here, and well, the last episode has been quite informative, and I guess quite surprising for one of the characters. And I guess it was not us as the MC. So yeah, let's find out where this is going. Hopefully we can get the father and daughter sort of connected, because I feel like that's what we should do at least. Anyway, I remained in my room for the whole morning, stranded on the bed. I felt like if the world turned upside down, I was nosy. I feel like if the world turned upside down, I was nauseous. I know I wanted to read it in one sentence. I didn't throw up, but whenever I would think about Azzurra again, I felt sick. That couldn't be possible. She couldn't be Giovanni's daughter. She was dead. And the Azzurra I knew was anything but. I like her, and I wanted to spend more time with her. I want to talk with her. Whoops. And her voice. And hear her laugh again. But that future had been ripped off from my hands 3 years ago. The room started getting really hot in the late morning, so I decided to get out of here. As I passed by the other rooms in the corridor, something attracted my attention. It was a door that had no number on it. I had noticed it when I came in first, but never gave it much importance. I knew Giovanni slept in the room next to it thanks to the snoring I heard at night, so that couldn't be his room. That could mean. I stared at it for a moment, then walked up to it and tried to open it. But it was locked, of course. I scratched my head, perplexed, and walked outside. Right out of the building I saw Giovanni. He was leaning on a wall, looking at the sea, and he didn't seem to have noticed me. He turned, saw now that it was me, and smiled.
Hey there, feeling better, I hope?
I'd say so. I swallowed. Even if I was scared to ask, the confusion in my head was even scarier. I needed to know more. Giovanni, do you mind me asking something about Azzurra? He turned to look at me in surprise. I could see a cloud passing on his smile.
Why? What's up with her all of a sudden?
Okay, it's okay if you don't want to talk.
No, it's fine, I guess, but I don't really know what to say about her.
He closed his eyes for a few moments, thinking.
You know, it's strange to hear her name come up right now. It's been 3 years to the day that she disappeared.
Really?
Yeah, strange coincidence, isn't it?
It probably was, yet I couldn't help but think that there must have been some connection between that and me finding Azzurra on the beach.
I wish you could have known her. I get that you two would have gone along just fine. She was just like her mother, like the sea more than anything else in the world. You should have seen her swimming. She learned to swim before learning to walk, believe it or not.
I feel like that's the case for a lot of kids. Like you can drop a kid to the water and they somehow can swim, right? Or am I not correct about that? Whatever, really.
She used to swim far away in the sea, so far that I couldn't see her anymore.
Oh boy. Well, that's already kind of bad news, I would say.
I wasn't really scared about her, you know. It would be easier to drown a fish than her.
His eyes became suddenly empty and shook his head.
It was a Saturday evening. The air was warm, and I knew it was just a matter of days before she could jump back in the water. I saw her get in the water under the moonlight.
So that's why we can see her only at night, huh? Interesting.
I always told her not to swim at night, but I thought I'd give her a break since it was the first bath of the year.
He went silent for a long time, collecting his thoughts.
It was then that the sea became angry. The wind started to rise all of a sudden, and the waves were starting to get bigger and bigger. I ran out, calling her, but I could hardly win against the strength of the wind. I was in the same spot where I am right now. I couldn't even take my bow out. It would have been suicide, and I was left there, impotent, as the sea became stronger and stronger. I tried to find Azzurra between the waves, but I couldn't see her anywhere. The only thing I could do was to wait.
Damn. Can't even imagine what it must have felt like.
The sea calmed down when the sun started to rise at the horizon. I went there, sitting on the sand. I just knew that she would be back. I knew it. Not even a sea like that could go against Azzurra. And I waited, and waited. And I'm still waiting.
I felt a chill down my spine. Giovanni was staring at the sea in the distance, almost like if he hoped to see something come true.
You know what is the worst thing about the situation? That I don't even have a body to mourn. When my wife died and my daughter and I buried her, I felt some kind of closure. It was painful, but at least time healed the pain into scars. But I can't say the same with Azzurra. I think about her, even now, and it still hurts. It's hard, you know. You think yourself as strong and all, but then life finds new ways to test you.
The silence that followed felt painful. I felt sorry for him. I stood there, silently, waiting for him to recover a little. I want to help him, as much as I want to help Azzurra. It was evident to me that helping one meant helping the other. Their destinies were connected, and mine was somehow connected to theirs. He sighed and shook his head.
Sorry about this. I didn't mean to be a downer.
You weren't. I'm glad you shared this with me.
You're welcome.
I left Giovanni, who remained there alone. Really? Come on, man, explain stuff to him. Ugh. After a few steps, I turned to look at him, and for the whole time he kept looking at the sea. Almost if he was waiting for Azzurra to come back. I felt a cold hand on my heart, then walked away. Dude, why won't you tell him, dude? Ah. Tell him to come there in the evening, for heaven's sake. Evening soon came. I ate dinner with Giovanni, whose normal talkative spirit seemed to have taken a hit. Well, yeah. Even the portions seemed to have felt the influence of the memories of that afternoon. I could actually finish them, even if with a little effort. This dude has problems with eating. I also have problems with eating. As in, I don't like food to be left on the table. Yeah, that's why I don't cook much. After dinner, as soon as the sun was down, I quickly directed myself to the beach, walking at a briskly pace. I needed to see Azzurra again, and update her on what I had just found out. I need to make Giovanni and Azzurra communicate. That was the reason why she came back. Without even realizing, I was at the usual spot on the beach, where I had left Azzurra. The usual spot. I looked around, and when I couldn't find her at all, I could feel my heart pump faster in my chest. Azzurra? No answer. I started to feel a little uneasy. And it was only that I looked at the sand and had a chilling discovery. There was a long trail, like if something had been dragged on the sand, that reached all the way to the water, disappearing in the waves. Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! The story that Giovanni told me that afternoon came back all at once. She was gone, she was gone, she was gone. She drowned, that I couldn't do anything to... And it was then that I noticed something lying on the beach. Clothes. Oi. A loud splash behind me made me turn, and what I saw left me speechless. Well, I mean... Azzurra slipped out of the water, but you can see that, letting out a satisfied sigh. Her hair flew behind her back, in an arc of droplets that shined under the moon like a million tiny diamonds. Her hair laced around her face, framing a smile of freedom that I had never seen on her before. A smile that lasted until our eyes met. Well, yeah. We both froze, a cold silence dropped between us. Her face lighted up red. She covered her body and rolled back in the water down to the neck. She started slamming the water, inundating me with her artificial waves. I tried to cover up in defense, but her attack was fierce. Idiot! Pervert! Stop staring! Turn! Turn! Okay, sorry, I didn't know. Here, take this! I tried to reach the clothes, but as soon as I did, her water attack became even more violent. No! Don't touch! Go away! Turn! Turn! I turned away, and the water assault stopped. I could hear her frantically trying to put her clothes on. After a few minutes, the commotion seemed to have calmed down. I'm done. And there she was, clothed, sitting on the wet side of the sand. She was covering her body up with her hands, protecting it from my stare. I couldn't help myself. That was absurd, but the relief was just a little too much for me at the moment. A loud laugh exploded from my mouth, so loud and strong that I had to bend in half. Stop it! It's not funny! It is a little... It isn't, I'm sure we're out there, just waiting for me to come out. Of course not. Don't be ridiculous. I'm just so happy to see you again. Her face became even redder, if possible. What if that, all of a sudden? I was scared that you left. Well, I'm not the one who disappears in the middle of the night. I woke up today and you weren't. I was... She stumbled on her words for a moment, and then she remained silent. But, I mean, who swims butt naked like that anyway? I do, okay? I don't think you'll drive right now, alright? I've been stuck here doing nothing for hours. What do you expect? Just stay here on the beach looking at the moon? Swimming makes me feel good, and I was scared too, you know? I was scared that you wouldn't come back. There was an awkward silence for a moment. I didn't think you could swim. I thought you had drowned or something. I mean, you can't even stand even for... It seems like you are standing right now. I didn't think it would work either, but I was so bored I want to give it a shot. And I actually found out that I can swim well, actually. Actually. At least my legs seem to be collaborating. She dragged herself on the dry side of the beach. Okay, so she's not standing, actually. She seemed to have calmed down some. I like to swim, actually. I feel free when I'm immersed in the sea, with water in every direction. Absolute opposite of me. After being blocked here on this beach until now, it feels like the world suddenly opened up in front of me. There was a moment of silence that was strangely tense. For a moment I even felt like I shouldn't come back. And where would you go? Her silence sent chills down my spine, especially under the light of what Giovanni told me that afternoon. I'm not saying I was thinking about it, but it just felt like a possibility. But I still needed to come back. There was something that was keeping me here. Our eyes met for a brief moment, and she quickly looked away. Does that involve me, perhaps? What? Of course not. I was talking about... She hesitated, looking around her for something to reply with, but around was just sand. Seeing that nothing was coming up, I teased her a little more. I suppose it was for the panorama, wasn't it? It's a really beautiful spot here. She pouted without answering, and it was adorable. I felt my heart light up with a smile. But that didn't last long. Soon the reality of that moment came crashing on me. Azzurra was dead. It was hard to accept, considering how lively she was, but that was just a fact. Even if I could talk to her and interact with her, Azzurra wasn't a part of the real world anymore. There were so many things we could have done together, but now, all of that was just a brutal fantasy in my head. If only we could time travel back in time. And that emptiness I felt inside was scary and familiar at the same time.
What happened?
What?
You look all gloomy all of a sudden. Are you okay?
I am?
Well, you don't look like it.
I rubbed quickly my face with my hands. Azzurra, there's something that I discovered about your past today. Her eyes lighted up.
Really?
I've talked to Giovanni about you, and it seems you are his daughter.
Oh, really?
A smile warmed her face.
So there is someone else after all. I can't believe it. I'm so happy.
I closed my eyes. Her happiness only made what I was about to tell her much worse. He also said something about you. She leaned a little closer, her attention completely absorbed by me. I took a deep breath. I had to tell her. I needed to. He said that you disappeared 3 years ago. She looked at me confused for a few moments.
I don't get it. What do you mean disappeared?
You went for a swim, storm hit, and you never came back. Whoa, something disappeared in Azzurra's eyes. Yeah, I noticed that as well. She must have started connecting everything together.
I understand. What does it mean? That I've been stranded on this beach for...
She looked at the beach around her, the place she couldn't escape from.
No.
I just stared at her, unable to say anything. I felt like my throat had been knotted up.
Mick, this can't be right. I don't feel dead at all.
I wished I could find something to tell her to make her feel better, but I couldn't find anything. Her body relaxed a little, and she took a deep breath.
At least it makes some sense this way. Losing my memory, getting stuck here, and all of that other weird stuff.
What other weird stuff? Then she laughed a little.
I was right, you see. I was actually cursed in the end.
I just stared at her. She dried up her eyes with her arms. Then her head rested on my shoulder.
Now I understand why I felt like I liked to get lost in the sea. It just felt like I was going to get back to where I needed to return.
Don't talk like that, please. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes.
But I'm here now. This must mean something.
What do you mean?
Usually when the dead come back, it means that they still have some business to take care of, right?
Technically.
That means that I'm here for a reason. And it's probably because of it that I feel a sense of urgency.
She smiled, and I wish I could smile in return, but I didn't feel like it. I just stared at the sea.
So, this means that if I find out what I need to do, then I'll be finally able to leave this place and...
Our eyes met, and she realized what she had just said. I just looked away. I didn't feel too well.
Hey, Mick, are you okay?
I shook my head, trying to push back the pain. It all felt so unfair.
Hey, it's okay.
No, it's not okay, Azzurra. It's not. What am I supposed to do now? Just talk with you normally, ignoring what I just told you? She remained silent. I could read guilt on her face, and that makes me feel bad. Azzurra, I understand that it isn't your fault. I'm just having trouble accepting this. I have trouble accepting it too. You know, we didn't spend much time together, but despite that, it hurts to leave you. We looked at each other, and I could feel sadness building up inside of me. Then I hugged her. A strong hug. One she couldn't escape from. I mean, not like she could escape anyway, given her circumstances. We know. Hey, easy! I'm not letting you go. Meg. I don't want to let go. I can't stand it. She became rigid in my arms. Meg, don't say that, please. It only makes it worse. Why does everything that I love escape me? Why am I punished like this? Meg, we have to face reality. I detached from her and looked into her eyes. How can you be so calm after what I just told you? I'm not calm. I'm just happy to know what is going on after all this time. I thought until now that my destiny was just to be stuck here forever. But now I know that there is one way out. She looked towards the sea. I realized in that moment the way she was seeing it. A way to get away from her prison. A way to escape. The hurt that exploded the night before, I wanted her to feel better, to never feel that pain again. But losing Azzurra was too much for me to handle. So, this is all you're looking forward? Just leaving? I don't have a choice, Michele. I love being with you, but we're just far away. I like to spend time with you, and I wish that you could be with me forever. But I simply can't. The void that you leave in me whenever you leave is too much for me to bear. Please, I beg you, you have to understand. I understood, but that didn't help at all make me feel better. To me, the little I could have of her every day was precious. The only medicine for my soul at that moment. I'm just asking for one last thing, to help me figure out my past, understand what it is that I need to do. And I need you for this. You are asking too much. No, she's not asking too much. I've come here in this place because I've already lost an important part of my life. You can't ask me to lose everything all over again. I mean, technically, it's not like you are, you know, dating Azzurra right here, right? This is like the third day? Yeah, third day that you meet her. And you are not dating. Well, I guess I get it. She looked at me for a few moments, and then she lowered her eyes to the sea. There is something I want to tell you, Meg. The moments we've passed together, it wasn't much. Maybe a handful of hours in total. But I still felt like these moments were precious for me. Because those were the only memories that I had. I've been thinking about you for all this time. Simply because you are everything to me. Oh, you are making me crazy. And you can't really understand how precious the memories you had with someone. Until you don't have any. Ooh, that's... Oh. Okay, that's deep. I wonder if that's true. I don't want to find out though. Her words hit me. A sad smile appeared on her face. We don't have to spend eternity together. We just have to make every moment special. That's what matters. She's right about that too. And in that moment I felt my heart stop. Azzurra leaned in and our lips touched. A small soft kiss suspended forever in a silence broken only by the sound of the waves. Everything became still. In that moment, everything didn't matter. Only her lips, and the taste of the sea that I could taste on them. I felt the caress of her tongue on mine, the passion that twitched in our bodies as they touched lightly. I wish that moment could freeze and remain like that forever. Then her lips parted mine. It was hard, as if removing part of myself, and the moment was over. Her eyes were shining in the moonlight. She bit her lower lip and smiled.
This is special enough for me, and even if it was just a moment, I feel like I'll never forget it.
I looked at her. She was wonderful, the most beautiful girl I had ever met, and knowing that I had to lose her was too much. But I also had life, in the time where I wasn't with her. She didn't. And if I felt alone in my current condition, I couldn't even imagine how lonely she could be feeling in that moment. I felt a lump in my throat and a big desire to cry. It hurt, it really hurt, but she was right. As much as I didn't want her to go, she was already gone. She was dead, but all the time we spent together was a blessing that had been given us, an opportunity that I took full advantage of. I felt her hand caressing my hair, trying to comfort me, just like I did to her in the past. Like yesterday.
It's okay, don't cry.
I couldn't. I felt like something was being ripped inside of me, and the tears started to roll. I cried, my face immersed in her hair, sobbing, and as she hugged me, I could hear her sobbing too. When the tears stopped falling, we remained cuddled together for a little more. I could feel her hand slowly caressing my back. I could have remained like that forever, but the turning of time started to call, and I realized that it was time to go. I detached from her with a heavy heart and stood up. I think I know what you have to do. Her eyes sparkled. I've been talking to your father, Giovanni, today. I'm starting to think that the reason you are still here is him. He doesn't seem to have gotten over your disappearance, and I believe that this is somehow keeping you stuck here.
So, you're saying you're going to help me?
I nod.
Thank you. But how am I going to do this? It's not like I can talk to him, even if I wanted to.
I'll find a way. There is always a way.
I'll be waiting here. Please be back.
I mean, we can either try bringing him there, or let's get a piece of paper of ourselves, right? She could write something, and it will be her handwriting. We don't know how her handwriting looked like, so maybe Giovanni would be like, yeah, that's my daughter's. Or something like that, I don't know. Maybe he will come up with something better. She gave me a light kiss on the lips, and she smiled. I tried to smile despite the pressure of the responsibility that crushed me. I looked at her one last time, almost to impress her image in my mind. When I started walking away, I promised myself not to look back. That would make things only worse. But after a few steps I couldn't help but turn. I saw Azzurra in the distance. She waved to me. I turned again with a heavy heart. There was something that I didn't tell her, and some guilt filled my soul. She had to go back, but that didn't mean I couldn't follow her. Oh! Are you being serious right now? I mean, not gonna lie, that thing crossed my mind by thought. No, this is something I should not say at all. But now I had to focus. I had to help her, and I knew that if there was a solution to all of this, I could only find it in one place. It was late when I ran back to the hotel. The door had been left open, just like the night before. I could hear snoring from the room where Giovanni was sleeping. The time was right. I felt scared, but it was what I had to do. I had already noticed some keys that Giovanni left hanging behind the counter. I took the keyring, trying to make as little noise as possible, and then walked up to the till door. I knew that if there was a way to help Azzurra gain back her memories, I could only find it in the room. her old room. I felt a little nervous just before entering. Really? Over there? I double-checked that Giovanni was sleeping, and when I got a confirmation, I looked through the keyring. It wasn't hard to find the corresponding key. It was different from all the others, as if that lock was an older model that hadn't been changed with all the others. I put the key in and turned. A loud click. I froze for a moment. The snoring resumed in the other room, and I relaxed. I opened the door and walked inside, as the pressure started to rise in my chest. The room was dark and silent. It felt weird to enter a room that belonged to Azzurra. Maybe because I knew nothing of her past. Well, there I could see all of it. I could see a doll in a corner. Probably some childhood memory. A wall filled with old medals. A few photos framed on the desk. In one of them I could see her in an elegant dress. She was smiling. A smile frozen forever in the frame. I felt the tug in my heart. Ow. It was all so silent, it was almost unbearable. Like if I could hear the room's past whispering in my ear. The room was tiny, to the point of almost feeling alien. Everything was left as if Azzurra had just left the room. It was strange to realize that it belonged to a girl who died 3 years ago. It looked like Giovanni took great care of that room. Too much maybe. I couldn't help but feel that there was some delusion feeding that order. Isn't this a thing that parents do for when their child, you know, passes away? They kind of keep their room the same way as it was, right? I feel like that's what they do. Maybe not in all cases, but... almost as if he expected her to come back at any moment. I got the impression that Giovanni was somewhat trapped in his memories of Azzurra, a feeling that I started to understand well. I shook myself up. I couldn't take too much time. I had to be out of there fast. I scanned the room for something that would help her gain back her memories, and there was something that caught my attention right away. What? Oh, a frame, okay. It was an old photo. I recognized a much younger Giovanni in it, and a child that looked a lot like Azzurra. There was also a woman that I couldn't recognize. But that wasn't what attracted me to that photo. It was the background. I recognized it immediately. That was the same spot where I had found Azzurra, and the place from where she couldn't escape, or so it seemed. The frame was discolored in many points, almost like it had been held a lot. It was sad. I couldn't even understand the pain that Giovanni could have passed. Passed once, maybe felt, but... and that gave me more motivation to do what I was about to do. I need to show Azzurra this. If this didn't bring her memories, nothing would. I still don't get why won't you try getting Giovanni to the place, but okay. I really don't get it. I would try to get him there. Especially since it might be, you know, also a way to help him move. I didn't really want to take this away from him, but if it could help somehow give him some closure, it would be worth it. And then I froze. The room was silent. Too silent. I couldn't hear Giovanni snoring anymore. Oh shit. I quickly grabbed the frame and walked past the door. But it was too late. Giovanni was in front of the door blocking my escape.
Michele, what were you doing in there?
His face was glassy. Giovanni, look, I can explain. I stammered. Words couldn't escape my throat. Embarrassment burned my face.
What is that?
He pointed the photo I was holding. I didn't say anything. He reached for the photo and tore it away from my arms. When he realized what it was, he closed his eyes.
Step away from the door.
His tone was neutral, but hard. I let him pass. He took a peek inside the room, then closed the door and turned the key twice.
Pack your things right now. I don't want to see you here any longer.
Please wait!
I don't want to hear another word from you, okay? I know what kind of excuse you have for doing what you're doing. I don't want to hear it.
I swear it isn't how it looks.
I think you already did too much to break my trust. You took the keys from the entrance and used them to trespass into here, a dead guy's room, my daughter's room. What the hell were you thinking?
He looked more disappointed than angry, and that made it even worse.
I shouldn't have trusted you, but I'm not going to do the same mistake twice. I don't even care about your money. Just leave.
It was late. Too late. At that point I only had one possibility to fix everything. Giovanni, I have seen Azzurra. Huh? A shine appeared in his eyes.
This is too much. Get out right now.
Giovanni, I know it sounds absurd, but you have to believe me. I was doing it for her.
Enough!
He screamed her away, and words I had left. I just stood there empty.
Why are you talking with me like this? Why? Do you hate me? By any chance? Huh?
I promised that what I'm telling you isn't a lie, but I need to talk to you about her just for a moment. For a moment, I feared that he would just attack me, you know. But then his eyes relaxed.
I'll give you 1 minute to explain yourself.
I felt cold sweat dampening my forehead. That was more than I deserved, but just enough to get to the point. Alright. I met Azzurra. I don't know if she's a ghost or just my imagination, but she doesn't remember a thing and she says she needs to talk to you. His eyes widened a little. That's why I was taking the photo. I needed to help her remember. This is why I've been going out so late at night. The girl I was talking to you about, she was Azzurra. I've been talking to her and I really want to help her as much as I want to help you. But I need your help. You need to believe me. You have to come and talk to her too. Was it under the minute? He looked disturbed by my words. He remained silent for a few moments.
This is absurd. I hope you realize this. I don't even know how you can keep your face straight saying this.
But his voice sounded a little less hard this time, and my eyes had the unwavering solidity of truth. I don't believe it either, but it happened. Look, Giovanni, I need you to follow me. I think we are still in time to meet with her. A little hope seemed to have slipped in his heart. He shook his head.
What in the hell?
I swear it's better if you see her with your own eyes, okay? He was immersed in thought. After a few moments, I saw a strange, hopeful light shining on his face.
Where? Where did you see her exactly?
The place from the photo. The familiar water splashed, and I stared at it silently as I walked along. Giovanni was just behind me. He didn't say a single word since we left. I still didn't know how much he believed in me, but I could feel that he was tense. My heart was beating fast. I didn't know how Azzurra would react to seeing her father. Would she even recognize him? We kept walking. The big harbor at the end of the beach started appearing in the distance, and a knot formed in my belly. Oh no. We reached the end of the shore, and I couldn't reach the spot where Azzurra was. The realization started to creep up on me. Maybe it was his obsession that precluded him from reaching her, or maybe just the fact that I was the only one that could see her. But it wasn't working. My chest crashed in for the shame. I could see Giovanni looking around, waiting. But I couldn't meet his eyes. I felt too ashamed to do it.
Is this it?
His voice wasn't angry. It wasn't sad. It was just empty. I couldn't even bring myself to say anything. I felt so shameful. I just wanted to bury myself underground. Dude, but he would know where that place is, right? He took a photo of it there, so... He stared at me for a moment, scanning me from head to toe. Then he shook his head and walked back again on the beach, towards the hotel.
Giovanni, you can go back to the hotel for the night. I'll let you have this, but tomorrow morning you leave.
He didn't turn towards me. As he said those words, I could feel the disappointment in his voice. And he continued to walk along the beach, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Then I dropped on the sand, feeling a huge wave on my chest that made it hard to breathe. I had failed. I couldn't help Azzurra, and that stain filled up my chest slowly. As tired as I was, I couldn't get any sleep once I got back to my bedroom. I just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, with a vague feeling of defeat coming over me. I saw the night turn to day, and my soul turn into dust under the sunlight. I got out of bed with the dread of having to face Giovanni again. I don't know if we should end it or... I don't know how much of the game is left. After the way I dragged him along the beach, deluding his hopes, I couldn't even think about looking in his eyes again. I don't know, why didn't you say the place from the photo? Where is it? Can you find it yourself? God damn it. This guy. For a minute I thought about leaving check and running away without seeing him, but I quickly scrapped that option. I had left home running away from my fears. Now I wouldn't go back there, without at least knowing that I faced them. I went to the reception with my backpack ready. Giovanni was up already, looking at some papers. Whenever I spent, he lowered his, like if he was the one who felt embarrassed by something. Good morning.
Hello, I just need your pay and we're all done here.
He forced out a smile. It was warm, but it didn't feel natural. I started to wonder if his smile had always been like that, like holding back something. Once the transaction was over, he put away the papers and looked at me.
That's all. Thanks for staying here.
I just want to say...
Let's forget about last night, okay? I don't feel about going back to that. We're both tired and probably had your reasons to say something like that, even if I don't understand them.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry. What I did was unforgivable.
It was, but I don't feel any grudge against you, if that's your worry.
That made me feel at least a little better. I was ready to leave, ready to go. I didn't know what I would tell Azzurra about.
Before you go, I have something for you.
Giovanni left the room and came back after a few moments, holding something under his arm. Then he handed it to me, and my jaw fell.
Huh?
It was the photo I had found in Azzurra's room.
I know you're probably wondering why I'm doing this right now, and the answer is, I don't know. Despite what you did, I still feel there were some good intentions behind your actions. At first, seeing you taking away that photo was a complete shock to me. For me, seeing that photo go is a little like seeing Azzurra go. It is the only photo I still have of us as a family, and I didn't feel ready to lose it. But tonight, walking behind you on the beach, I had time to think about this. Why? Why am I holding on this stuff so much?
Because it's your daughter?
It's just things. It's like holding on to them will bring her back.
Well, yeah, but still...
I've been thinking about getting rid of it a few times in the past. Sometimes, when I'm alone and I've drunk glass too much, I end up in Azzurra's room staring at it. I always feel miserable when I do. I end up looking at what I've lost, at the loneliness I live in, at how great my wife and my daughter were, and how I didn't tell Azzurra how much I loved her every single day. And I started asking myself, how would Mia or Azzurra react to me being like this? Do you think they would be proud of me losing all grip on my life, just to keep up with the past?
He shook his head.
So I entrust you with this. I don't know when we're going to see again, and I don't care. I just want to keep this for me.
Are you sure about this?
Yes, I hope you understand. I know it is kind of weird, but...
As I looked in his eyes, I actually felt so happy I could cry. Without even thinking, I jumped to his neck and hugged him.
Hey, what's up?
I promise, I'll take good care of this. We parted and he smiled. I was about to get out of the hotel when I turned to him. Oh, about telling your daughter you love her. I'm sure she will know that, one way or another.
I see then. Goodbye.
And he smiled, almost like he started to understand what was going on. I let the day slip by, holding the frame in my hands with a care that attracted more than one curious look from the people passing by. It lasted an eternity. When finally the night was up again, I went to the beach, almost running down it. For a moment I was even scared that I wouldn't be able to meet Azzurra anymore. But it wasn't long before I reached the spot where Azzurra had been waiting for all this time. What the hell? Why didn't it work with him being around? What the heck? There she was, and I felt my heart jump in my chest as soon as I saw her. She looked at me, and I felt my heart beating faster in my chest as our eyes met. Hey.
Hey, you're back.
There was a strange tension in her words, the moments before a farewell that we both didn't want to have. I went near her, sat down, and handed her the frame.
What is that?
She took it, and there was a light passing her eyes as she saw it. She caressed with the tips of her fingers, in complete silence. I could see right away that she recognized the photo, and the people in it. Her fingers trembled a little.
Meg,
This is you, you see? Look what a little brat you were here, and this your father, Giovanni. He's even bigger now, actually, and this... I stopped as I didn't feel any reaction coming from her. I turned to look at her. Her eyes were filled with tears. She was staring at the photo like if it was a window to a past that she had forgotten. I could see a clear light of sleeping memories starting to wake in her mind, as the tears started rolling on her cheeks.
I remember them now. It was a long time ago when I was a child. It was the same place. Just before we discovered Mom was sick, I remember finding this beautiful seashell on the beach. I remember wanting to take these pictures at all costs. I really wanted to remember that moment forever. I felt like memories are blossoming in my mind all over the place.
She laughed, trying to hold back the tears. But as much as she wanted to, she couldn't do it, and she started to sob. I caressed her head slowly, trying to calm her down, as the crying shook her body. She looked at me.
How is Dad? How's he doing?
He's okay, but he's still in pain for what happened to you. She shook her head.
God, I feel so bad for him. I was a complete idiot.
Do you remember the night you died?
I do. I remember going in the sea. I remember the waves going bigger and bigger and then it was all a void until now.
She sniffs and cleans away her tears with her hands and looks at the photo again. I wish you could talk to him one last time. That would really help him.
Do you think I can leave him a message?
I don't know, maybe, but how?
I think I have an idea. Do you have a pencil?
Yeah, that's something I told you in the very beginning as well. As one of the options, I guess. Maybe not beginning of this episode. But yeah. In the beginning of the episode, kind of. Or somewhere in the middle. I don't actually remember the timestamp. I grabbed the pencil from my backpack and I handed it to her. She had already taken the photo out of the frame.
Maybe it won't work, but it's always good to give it a try.
She started scribbling a few words in the back of the photo. I tried to look, but she covered it with her hand.
Hey! It's personal correspondence. A little privacy, please?
Sorry? She quickly wrote something, then she put the photo back in the frame. She gave it a good look and then gave it back to me. I took back the frame, holding my hand. It felt uncomfortable in my fingers. Maybe because I didn't know if it would reach Giovanni's hands. What do you mean? She looked at me. Sadness lit up her eyes. I knew exactly what she was thinking. She was ready to go, and that was the moment I had to tell her the truth. Azzurra, I have to tell you something.
What?
I want to go with you.
Huh?
She looks away and remains silent for a moment. I don't have anything if I go back to my daily life, and I want to go with you. I know what it means, and I know that you're going to try to change my mind, but I've already decided. I want to stay with you, even if that means meeting with the void. I will.
Mick, if you want to go with me, I can't force you to stay.
Does that mean
But I think you're wrong.
How?
You still have a lot back home. You just don't realize it. I want to be happy. And by coming with me, you're just losing something that is more precious than anything else. Freedom.
We looked at each other, and I could read in her eyes perfectly what she meant. It was hard to accept. Azzurra.
Yes.
Are you sure there isn't another way? She smiled.
Mick, we can't just lie to ourselves. And to be honest, I'm grateful for the time I've spent with you. I've been dead for a long time, and Destiny still wanted us to meet somehow. And even if we aren't going to have a future in the real world together, I'm still happy to have known you and talked to you. The little time we spent together, it mattered to me.
She hugged me, a strong hug that felt like a goodbye.
Thank you.
I squeezed her against me, a hug that didn't want to let her go. I could smell the sea in her hair, a smell that I grew to love. And then we separated and looked in each other's eyes. Those eyes in which I could get lost. I stared in them, being sure that I wouldn't forget them. I love you. Her cheeks gained some color and looked away.
I love you too.
I wish he had met. Her finger on my lips cut away any more words.
These are our last few months together. We don't need words.
And she smiled. A smile that I knew I'd never be able to see again. I leaned and kissed in a tender embrace. A long, silent kiss, the taste of love and the sea on her lips. Our tongues massaged together. Our bodies caressed each other. There was only silence, because nothing else was needed. Our bodies understood each other's through the language of passion. When our lips pulled apart, her eyes were closed. We didn't need words to know that we wanted more of kissing. Our lips touched again, mouths open, breathing to each other. I could feel the passion in her breath building up. Her lips took a step back. Her trembling, hot breath passed over my neck. Then our mouths joined again, with even more passion. I wanted her more than I wanted anything else in the world. Then, she moved her hair away from her face and looked at me. A playful smile warmed it. And before I could do anything, she slid between the waves, gave me a quick look before throwing herself in the sea. Before I could even realize that she had already disappeared in the dark water. What was she doing? Surprised, I pushed myself from the sand to the water. I felt the cool waves splashing against my face, the salty taste of the sea over my lips. I dropped inside the water, and suddenly everything was dark and silent, like the deepest night. I swam around, looking for Azzurra, but the water was too dark and I couldn't see anything. Did she just leave me like this? A sharp fear suddenly cut through me. I rose to the surface quickly to examine my surroundings. As soon as the air hit my face, I breathed in and looked around above the dark surface. But I couldn't see her anywhere. I felt lonely all of a sudden. And in that moment, something cursed my legs. I screamed with surprise. Their thing rose until it emerged. And Azzurra appeared in front of me, her face so near. I could see the shining water caught in her lashes. She didn't say a word, she just laced her arms around me and kissed me. A salty kiss that was full of passion. The passion was slipping down. The passion was slipping down slowly. But in its place, I felt something else. Love. I loved Azzurra. I loved to see her. I loved to kiss her. I loved to hear her voice. And she was in front of me, breathing away the passion with me. Then she stole another quick kiss and we looked in each other's eyes. It was time to go. I want to savor that moment, the last one. And then her head disappeared under the surface of the water. No, Azu! I had to go with her. I couldn't lose her, no matter how scary it was. The black water surrounded me from every side. For a moment I was suspended in the black void, in which I was floating. It was a strange feeling of freedom. I understand her attraction to swimming away like that. Azzurra was swimming in front of me, going even deeper in the dark water, with the elegance that raptured me, swimming like it was the only thing that she was born to do. I kept swimming, trying to reach her, and then she turned and looked at me. I could see her almost glowing in the dark water that surrounded us. She was leaving and I couldn't do anything to stop her. I started to panic. My breath was running short, and the surface was above us, far above. I had to get back, but she just kept going down. No, I didn't want to go back. I wanted to reach her, to go with her in that void where we would be forever together. I felt my consciousness slowly wane, and it started to get hard to keep swimming. I could feel the need for air, but in that moment I didn't want to fight anymore. I just wanted to let it all go. But then I felt a breath reach inside me. Azzurra kissed me again, and I could feel her breathing passing through me, giving me strength, giving us another moment together. The last one. I felt my mind calm down. I knew what she wanted from me. She was like, "Leave, you bastard!" Her lips parted from mine, and we looked at each other in the darkness. She was going down, dragging me along with her, our hands the only thing still joining us. And I could feel the pressure of her fingers lifting. She didn't want to go. She didn't want to drag me down. She wanted me to let her go. And in that moment I realized I couldn't go with her. Because if I went with her, the time we spent together, all of it would disappear. I opened my fingers and the last touch of her tips caressed them. I could see her look at me one last time. And then she started swimming away. I waited in the darkness until she was gone. Azzurra. I felt lightheaded. I need to go back to the surface. I started to feel really tired and sleepy. I closed my eyes as I started pushing with my feet towards the surface. I felt my better eyes in the darkness around me, fighting against the water. The surface felt so close, and yet so far. But I kept pushing, struggling to get back to the air of the night. I needed... The surface was near. I just needed to break through it. And it was then that the darkness that surrounded me reached inside, and all became void. Are you kidding me? Okay, he managed to. A splash of water hit my face. I woke up. Ah! The sun was up. It stopped my eyes, and I let out a lament. It took a moment for them to get used to it. I felt tired and confused, and for a few moments my mind felt blank. But then I remembered. Azzurra! I stood up quickly. I suddenly realized that I'm butt naked. I covered myself with my hands and looked around. My swimsuit was a few steps away from me, near my backpack. I quickly snatched it and put it back on, feeling an embarrassing heat spreading on my face. How long I've been lying like that? Luckily, no one seemed to be around. Phew! Despite everything, I felt a little laugh emerge on my lips. If Azzurra were there, she would have probably commented on that, saying that I did it on purpose, for exhibitionism or stuff like that. I laughed. I really missed her. Already. I didn't feel bad, however. I felt strangely refreshed, as if the thoughts that had been tormenting me for the longest time had finally found some rest. But I still missed Azzurra. I felt like I had a lot of things to still tell her. I sighed, and was ready to grab my stuff and leave when I saw someone approaching from the beach. I felt a pinch to the stomach. It was Giovanni. Our eyes met, and a surprised look appeared on his face. He walked up to me smiling.
Good morning.
Hi?
Didn't expect to see you here still. I thought you left.
I had some things to take care of.
Ooh, I see.
He looked around, and an embarrassed silence built up between us. I didn't think I'd see you around at this time of day. Something happened?
Not really. I felt strangely good today and want to have some early morning air in my lungs. I had the most restful sleep in the longest time, actually.
He hesitated, almost like if he considered telling me something.
Yeah, I saw Azzurra in a dream tonight.
Really?
It's been so long since I dreamed about her. It was so strange. It was almost like she wanted to catch up with me a little.
He laughed and shook his head.
I'm sorry, this is so stupid.
It's not. He smiled at me grateful.
Anyway, she told me I would find you here on the beach, believe it or not, and that I needed to meet with you. I didn't really believe it, but so many weird things happened lately I don't know what to believe anymore.
That's a feeling I knew too well.
Anyway, I said, why not? And came down here. And I'll be damned, you are actually here. That's some weird-ass coincidence, don't you think?
It kind of is, yeah.
Wait, what's that?
He leaned forward and picked up the photo frame he gave me from the sand. Sorry. I didn't notice it had fallen.
No problem. Oh, the photo fell off.
He bent over and grabbed it, and in picking it up, he saw the back of the photo.
Yeah? Oh, this. I never knew there was something written on the back of the photo. It looks like Azzurra's handwriting.
He stared at the back of the photo. Told you. In silence for a while. His eyes became sadder and sadder as he read the text.
I didn't know this was written here all along.
He pinched his eyes and looked back to me. He didn't say a word. It was like he was in another place with his soul. And then a smile appeared on his face. The waves crashed on the beach, filling up the silence. I could see tears forming the corners of his eyes.
Isn't it weird? I mean, all these years and only now I see this.
He reached for me and placed his hand on my shoulder.
I would have never seen it if it hadn't been for you. Thank you.
I nodded and he sniffed a little, putting the photo away. There was a genuine peace in his eyes that I hadn't seen before. Whatever she wrote in there, it really helped him. I could have easily read it if I wanted, but I suppose there was something between them, like it should be.
You know what? I feel like there is some change that needs to happen. I don't think Azzurra would be that happy about me managing the hotel all by myself, nor that I kept her room just like when she was alive. This means that I'll have a spare bedroom soon, and since the high season is coming, I was wondering, what do you think about giving me a hand?
Wait, what? Are you hiring me?
Yeah, I'd like you to give you a hand. You didn't seem too hurt about your day job, so...
I felt a smile forming on my face.
Sure,
I'd be more than happy to help. His explosive laughter hit me once again, and I recoiled from the surprise.
Awesome, then I'll take care of the paperwork. I'll call you back when everything is in place then. Oh, and by the way, aren't you hungry? Let's go back to the hotel. I have breakfast ready, and I need a hand to finish it all. I winced. We really need to have a talk about his portions.
I don't think I will be able to survive the summer with these kind of meals. I stayed with Giovanni for the morning. He talked about Azzurra at length. I could feel he had been holding back a lot of memories, for way more than a man should do. Most of the time he laughed, remembering funny anecdotes about Azzurra. A couple of times he went silent, talking about her, and smiled, his eyes sad and happy at the same time. And then we parted, with the promise of being back in a few weeks. I felt strangely excited about it, like I didn't feel for a long while. It was almost being a new chapter of my life, with a renewed strength flowing in my body. I felt changed from when I arrived, with the wave of my memories holding me down. I felt hopeful and willing to look at the future. I was about to walk to the train station when I looked back at the sea for a moment. I just wanted one last thing from that place, one last bath, like a goodbye to all the memories that I had from when I saw the water for the first time. I dumped everything on the beach and ran to sea, raising high splashes of water all around me. The water was cold and pleasant. I swam away from the coast until only water surrounded me in every direction. Then I just rested and let myself drift away, letting my thoughts float around me. The last few moments with Azzurra came back to my mind, and I started feeling a little nostalgic. I missed her, but I was also happy for her. I knew that the sea finally gave her the freedom she deserved. It was then that I felt something grasp my leg. I turned and looked around me, surprised. What was that? It felt like... My heart started beating a little faster, and as I examined the water in front of me... Azzurra? No answer. I looked at the water, but nothing was moving in there. What was I looking for? I didn't know. It probably had been just some seaweed? I swam back to the coast, and when I had my feet on the sand, I looked back at the sea. Why did I get the feeling that Azzurra was there? Immersed in thought, I passed the back of my hand on my mouth. And in that moment I felt it. Felt what? The taste of the sea on my lips. The same taste that was on her skin. Something crumbled inside of me, and I fell on my knees. As my eyes filled up with tears, I felt her presence in the immense sea in front of me. Almost as if she was everywhere looking at me, comforting me with her presence. Reminding me of the time we spent together, of the feelings that I still felt for her, things that I would hold in my heart for the rest of my life. One last salty kiss from her lips as a farewell. Thank you, Azzurra. The end. Well, as the MC, we might have gotten hurt here, but I'm glad we were able to make things right for both Azzurra and her father, Giovanni. That was important, I believe. Still, definitely a sad story here. It was pretty good though, not gonna lie. I enjoyed myself. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. One last salty kiss. Yeah, the game of course is linked in the description for you, so if you want to get it yourself, feel free to. It's a name your price game. So I guess anything would be helpful for the dev as well, right? Ah, that was really good. Was it not? Oh, I actually have to click, okay. I did not realize that. I'm gonna give it a high rating. I liked it. From 2019. Wow, I had it for a while. Oh no. Actually, let's not drop into the gallery because I know that there is stuff I can't show you actually. Damn. I mean, the characters here were going through some tough times. Like Michele, the main character of ours, right? Got dumped after 2 years, if I remember correctly. No, was it 2 years? Yeah, I think so. It was some amount of time, okay. And, you know, she was thinking of being with that partner of hers at the time. Like, for entire life already, right? He wanted to get married and so on, but he got dumped instead, so... Well, he's been going through a lot, that's for sure. Azzurra here, our heroine. Well, unfortunately lost her life. But her soul was still wandering in that same spot, right? Without memory. Makes you wonder if anyone else at all has ever run into her. For I believe there would be no one, to be honest. Which is maybe a little bit surprising because it was 3 years, right? But still. And, you know, for her to handle the situation the way she did, that was also, like, rather a big thing, to be honest. I think, at least. I don't know, maybe not. I mean, she was already, like, let's say, kind of a ghost, I would say. Even though she was real, but she would only appear at night. I think it was amazing for her to be able to handle all of that. Still though. And Giovanni, the wonderful owner of the hotel, who, let's face it, also I can't even imagine how much he went through. Like, his wife getting sick and dying, and then his own daughter also dying. Like, oh fuck, how do you not go crazy because of that, right? Dude, nasty. I'm glad we are able to, you know, hope to help basically Giovanni to somehow move on, to get Azzurra, you know, to ascend, even if it was at the cost of our own feelings. I think it was worth it here. One last salty kiss. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You can like if you enjoyed. You can subscribe because we will, I imagine, be playing more of games of this type. I feel like they are the best, you know, the one that kinda hit you in the guts a little bit. That one hit a little bit, not gonna lie. Yeah. There is also Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, whatever really. I feel like saying all of that with this game doesn't, like, it's not necessary. Do whatever you want. Anywho, yeah, let's end it for today. It was, for me, a very, very big blast, to be honest. I enjoyed myself a lot with one last salty kiss. I can only hope you guys as well. You can go and support the dev, of course, by getting the game. I guess even by the lowest possible price. I'm sure it will help them making more of those. Maybe something else that will hit us in the guts as well. And that's it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you hopefully in the next game. Bye bye.